Hi there, I'm Ian Smith, and this is Transition Thursdays. It's my weekly podcast of everything to do with transitions, building value, getting through transition, planning for transitions of ownership well before the time comes to actually sell a business or transfer to your kids or to management. And so if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe or the like, send me a comment or leave a comment below, because I think the more we share, the better off we all are as entrepreneurs. So today I'm going to talk about transferable value, and it's something I have talked about in the past, but I think this year, and particularly for Canadian business owners, this year I think it's a great time to really focus on building that transferable value, because the M&A market is going to be tough. There's going to be more back-end payment terms and things like that because of the uncertainty over what's going on geopolitically. And so now is a great time to really prepare your business and prepare yourself for that transition, regardless of whether it is in the near term or the long term. So first of all, what is transferable value? That's kind of the number one question that people ask. I think the best way to start with what transferable value is to explain what it's not. What transferable value is not is probably what you would see in a typical valuation of your business, a very technical valuation. Just how much money you make, this is the cash flows, this is the budgets, this is some of the comps in the market of other transactions. That's a very technical, scientific kind of approach to valuations. But what transferable value is the value of your business if you're not in the business. And so think about what that means. In the worst case scenario, you win the lottery. I like that better rather than being hit by a bus. But you win the lottery, you move to the Maldives, and you leave the business to the management team and see what happens. If somebody buys that business and you've been a very integral part of its success, the business will not be worth nearly what it was while you were there in the owner's chair. So transferable value is the value of the business without the owner present. And why does that matter? It matters because if you are the integral part of the business, buyers of your business are not going to pay nearly the same amount for the business, because there's not just the business risk, but there's also the relationship risk. And so when you're out of the business, those customers, those suppliers, those even the staff that have had these very strong relationships with you may not survive that transition, and therefore the business may not be as valuable. So it's very important to think about what the business is worth without you. And now if you have transferable value, if you've built this transferable value, the other thing it does is it opens up the market to a whole different genre of potential buyers. Buyers that won't buy a very entrepreneurial business because of the risk that that very strong owner has in terms of the relationships. They are more likely to look at a business that has a very strong management team. So I'm thinking of like private equity investors. Private equity investors are much more likely to buy businesses where they've got a strong management team, because private equity investors don't like to manage business. They like to manage their investments in those businesses and find the right people, a new CFO, a new director of marketing, whatever it might be that needs to fill some gaps. That's their expertise, but not day-to-day running of businesses. But by opening that universe to this whole new genre of buyers, as opposed to just competitors or management team, it means you have more competition in the potential sale or transfer of that business, and more competition leads to better results, not just price but in terms. So that's why it's important, is because it helps build value. It builds stronger management teams. It builds hopefully a more sustainable, more competitive business, which I think in the Canadian context we all need these days. And so it's critically important to start putting those pieces in place now, there's so many other things going on in the market. What we'll talk about next week is 3 things that you can do to improve your transferable value. So that's the next big piece. Now that you know a little bit about what transferable value is, we're going to talk about what you can do to dramatically improve the value of the business. And I'll use a case study of an example, a recent example of a business we sold where we were able to help in the owner to think about what that meant and to put those pieces in place to generate absolutely fantastic results for them and their family, and for the management team as well. The management team did very well by the transition of ownership to new owners. So with that, I'll say goodbye. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. But as I said before, leave a comment, subscribe, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me an email. Love to hear from you.